and we just went down to see in the house that, if we can find it. They lived downstairs, and when we moved in from the river, and we lived in there upstairs. So my cousin and I are 10 years apart. She turned 90, and now I'm 80, and so we've lived together a lot.
Take it right.
Right?
Yep.
These are all newer houses, I don't know. But you can see the side where that slide came down. Was that fun? How do I remember that?
One more.
Yeah, there's another corner down
So we go down and we hang a right on First Avenue. It's all the way down on the end. It's that yellow house down there on the end on the right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. And in that yellow house, we lived upstairs, and Aunt Ida and Uncle Frank and my cousin Mabel, who is 10 years older than me, she lived downstairs, and he was a mechanic, and I can hardly remember anything but his feet hanging out under the car. When I saw the picture of Mick and Joe with their feet hanging out the car, it reminded me of Mabel's dad in that this used to be driveway here, and he was a mechanic, and all I saw was his legs under the car all the time. All I can remember the shape of his face, because they were killed in a car accident. A tavern owner in Silvis, Gus Hyverk, hit them and killed both of them, leaving my cousin Mabel and Danny as orphans. And that's how Mabel came to live with us. We didn't have enough room, and Danny went down to the other side of the family and lived in Kewanee. And so Mabel wanted to be with him, so when she had 2 years of high school, she left our house and went and lived with her other side of her family at their house. But we didn't have enough room, and so the decision was made to keep the girl so she could sleep together, you could all sleep together. And so that's when Mabel left. So that's why Mabel's so special to us, because we called her Dable. Yeah, and we couldn't say the M word. And but that's what I remember of her dad. And Aunt Ida was my dad's. Marvin Hickson was my dad, and it was his sister, and we lived with them when we came in from the river, living on the river. So that's kind of that history. But somewhere
So
there's
how was Ida was related to
Aunt Ida and Marvin Hickson, my dad.
Brother and sister?
We're brother and sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many brothers and sisters did
My dad
Grandpa Marmer have?
My dad had 2 sisters. Aunt Ida was the oldest. Then there was Aunt Bonnie, Bonnie is named after. And everybody told me all my life I looked just like Aunt Bonnie. But she died of pneumonia, and her lungs and everything filled with phlegm and everything, and she choked to death. They were trying to pull the stuff out.
Died like that.
Pull that phlegm gets so thick in there, and they were pulling it out, and she choked to death and died. But and she must have been a real pretty lady, because she and her husband were in vaudeville, and they used to dance together, and their son danced with him as a little boy. He was a feature, and you have met him, haven't you, Mick?
Yeah.
Junior, remember? He was Scotty Junior, and he used to dance, with him. So he did so well that he went to the Army because he was orphaned, just like Mabel and Danny. And his dad left him. He just left him on the side of the streets in Davenport. He had to find his way, so he joined the Army. And because sorry. And because of his background, he knew how to dance. So he joined the Army, and he became the head of the entertainment for the troops. And he traveled all over, and he did that till he retired.
Oh, that's cool.
So he was the head of all the entertainment during the World War II.
So what do you remember about this house?
Well, I just remember this front porch. It was higher up. The porch was higher. And there's a picture somewhere where in all the pictures that are around of Donna standing on the porch here. Only it wasn't this porch. That's been fixed up. So that porch is probably sunk down in or something. And I was standing over there like a snow pants on the bottom half, and looked like a sweatshirt type thing, only we didn't have sweatshirts, so it must have been a sweater. We used to see where the front porch is? That was a porch, the roof, where the roof comes down, that part is a porch when we lived there. And
I see.
yeah, and in the living rooms where we used, the wind breeze would come in there, and we'd sleep in our underwear, taking our naps. In the back where the porch comes down there, is the kitchen area, and you can see that it's added on. I think it slopes a little bit now. But the middle center windows, the bigger ones, that was the living room. And I can't remember about the front two windows. But we lived upstairs, and Aunt Ida and Uncle Frank lived downstairs with Mabel and Danny.
And so how many people lived in that house?
So there were 4 of them and 4 of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was about 1938, somewhere around in there, 39.
Yeah, because I was born in 35.
And you moved to Kelowna in 41, where you started first grade
Yes.
in Kelowna.
Yes.
So you were in Kelowna in first grade, so this is late 1930s.
Yeah, and Donna was going to school first and second grade, because we didn't have kindergarten at that time. Only the city people got that. So, but then there was nothing sitting in the back. But Uncle Frank would have loved that big old garage. But he was a great mechanic. He could fix anything, make them run. And I don't know. I wonder if some of those trees were there. I don't know. I don't know if they could even be that old. I don't know if these trees look that old or not. Depends on what kind of a tree it is.
Like oak trees.
But on the hillside there, that's where those tracks are we just saw.
And the railroad come right by the house.
Oh, yeah.
Always living by a railroad track.
We had railroad tracks. Yeah. So when I met Dad, we got married. It's the first time I've ever not lived by trains.
Yeah.
So they're most people can't sleep around them, but they're like sings me to sleep.
I love it.
I